Hello, hello, hello. All right. I'm not sure how many of you guys are on today. We'll see. Like I said, we tried to do the 9:30 a.m. thing, and yeah, that did not work. Um, yep, lots of fun. Yeah, love my daughter, but unfortunately, jumping on a Great Dane is not always the safest and most practical thing in the world. So we'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to get charts in today. We'll see what we can find. A lot of movement in the overnight, so everything is kind of slowing down right now. But we'll see what we got. So right now in 24 hours, you can see the pip changes are somewhat normal. The dollar Swiss is the big one, down 75 right now. Um, and again, we're kind of seeing dollar weakness across the board, no matter what it is. And then obviously seeing a little bit euro strength, but I wouldn't say that euro strength is one of those things that is super super important. And again, a lot of those, but we knew Bailey was going to be speaking, right? And some of the things they're talking about is bringing inflation back down to trigger. But uh, basically we're going to discuss rate hikes of 25 to 50. So again, it's just acknowledgement over here for the UK, and you're seeing a little bit, but for the most part, since it came out, you're seeing more bearish news, right? And again, you're seeing euro pound up. Again, 25 is kind of weak right now, right? Looking to go that 25 route, and you know, kind of one of those things. It's like, you know, everybody else is doing 0.75 and you see 25 to 50, you're like, it's kind of weak. So it is. Other news headline too is obviously the Nord 1 steam restarting gas flow. And it's funny because of it, you're seeing a nice little move up in natural gas. Or I'm sorry, a move down in natural gas. Because again, I think everybody assumed that that was going to be offline for a while. And reality is it was not. So it is what it is. Obviously, Bailey is speaking 235 today. We have Bernard speaking, and then obviously low tonight. So the Aussie may be in play. A couple of the trade setups from yesterday missed by fractions. Few pips here, a few pips there. A couple of them I was like, it's the one problem with the if this then that trading. When you set it, if it doesn't trigger, it doesn't trigger. And I was like, there goes the move without me. So it happens. Not the end of the world. Um, Tomorrow morning early, there's a bunch of data. So we have the big one I would say right now is this pound, the CPI year over year figure going from 9.1 up to 9.3. Um, Again, there are 5, 6 raises in, and it doesn't appear to be slowing down. So, kind of a big deal. Like I said, they're already getting recessionary. I don't want to say fear, but they're already starting to see recessionary signs. And yeah, you know, raising those interest rates and inflation is not slowing down yet. Um, we'll see. 9.3 is a heck of a number. So I'd look at that and be like, wow. And then we have CAD CPI coming in. Now remember, CAD just did a bigger than expected raise last time. They're still expected to see the point 0.9, but it wouldn't have been factored in yet. Looking at some of these other figures out there, I mean, pretty much across the board, everything is supposed to be going up with retrend, medium, common across. Those are all big deals. And then obviously tomorrow, 10 a.m. We'll be speaking by that time already. Existing home sales is expected to be down a little bit. We'll see how much worse it actually is. As we said, we're seeing kind of record low in mortgages, so that's kind of one of those big deals, right? Is that- hold on one sec. Sorry. Um, yeah. So we shall see. Hold on. Was that the doctor? Hold on, guys. My phone went off and it wasn't. I'm just trying to make sure the doctor is trying to follow up here. Nope. Doesn't look like it's the doctor. All right. Wait one sec. Okay. Just want to like make sure it's like no. Um. All right. Yeah. So, well, we'll talk between them, but I think this is going to be bigger than average kind of drop. So, we'll see how it turns out. All right. So let's go over to charts. I think the first thing we need to talk about is obviously the VIX. VIX is down, right? Really, without lack of any news today till tomorrow, we should see it continue deteriorating. We had the nice big run up yesterday, and then again, at end of the day, kind of selling. Again, push back down, and it's where it should be. So, obviously, with it being down 3.75%, you're seeing all the indices in the green as they should be. I mean, there's no real news today. Um, again, we're seeing kind of some dollar weakness across the board. Some of the signs out there are, kind of what's happening, and again, not necessarily the worst for the overall indices. Again, weak dollar, means that we're probably going to raise a little bit less than what we thought. So We shall see. The dollar in itself, you can see, is continuing to deteriorate down. Like I said, this 109 was an amazing number. We didn't make it to 109.50, but we're all the way back down to 106. So back down into areas where we kind of expected it to be, and we had to mark some levels off. And again, if you continue this across, you can see we're kind of bouncing off of it right now. But if we do get any lower, we have a nice drop all the way down to the 105.20 range. So again, the dollar has some more movement. Again, we could see some continued dollar weakness here. Okay. Let's go right into currency. So here was one of those misses that we talked about. It actually did go a little bit higher. I guess yesterday at about 10:30 is where the peak was. We were looking for a pullback, and again, if I go higher, you can see it kind of missed. Right, the 23 it actually blew through, and it got super close. This one missed by 1.2 pips, right? Missed entry on this one by 1.2 pips. Always stinks when that happens. And again, the original draw from chart school yesterday would have been there, that we were looking for the 23, kind of like a break of the 23.6, and it did. It broke. It just got front run just by a little tiny bit. And again, the price ended up at 10:30 being where the peak was. 10:30 is actually the high candle. We talked about reversals yesterday. Came back through base and just sliced through, and oof, almost got that entry. Almost got it, and then it took off. And again, after it started to punch through again, we had to hit here, we had to hit here, had to hit here, had to hit here. We expected a breakthrough, so there was nothing else there. And we talked about another area of selling up at 68.95, and it did. It came up again, and as you can see, it hit it and pulled back again, and then hit it and base and dropped back down again, and then kind of hit it and is stuck there right now, and it's probably running out of steam. Again, being 12, we're kind of past a reversal time, but at this point, I would say that all this dollar weakness that we've seen in the last, I don't know, what, 12 hours, 13 hours. I'm assuming that this will probably all stop, and there will be an opportunity for a reversal play in here. So, you know, I would say Aussie dollar, I am a little bit more in the short thinking at this point, but we do have news tonight. And we do have low speaking, and it is at an Australian strategic business forum. So again, there may be talks of, hey, what does the rising interest rate environment do? Are we going to a recession? So I would say right now, on kind of the, I don't want to say grander scheme, but like on a larger bird's eye view, I would say kind of thinking a little bit more negative. Excuse me. Talking about what a recession could look like, and obviously inflation's out of control, and we got to raise it. But what are the recessionary concerns on the back end? Because again, it's a business thing, right? Rising interest rates is not considered good for a business. So kind of like this more bearish, but again, yeah, look at that. We were looking to go long, and 1.2 pips, right? 1.2 pips. Right now, I will say if price is able to pull back again from now till tonight, just like this zone is here, I guess we can remove that X. There is a level sitting here, and it's kind of snuck in, right? I would say there's kind of two pieces of this. One, we know we're in a level right now, so we can take that off. There is this kind of impulse correction, impulse basing, and then pop, and that just happens to be around the 23.6. So if we push back down again, and again looking at the top side, the 50 got broken through. The 61.8 is still sitting up there, up in this range. Let's put that one there. I would say right now, again, if we can pop just a little bit further, we have a 61.8. Again, that was from the big move from before. That could be in play, but if we start to turn and roll, I'd love to be able to mark and say, hey, listen, here's the zone, right? There's a racetrack right there. There is. But I would say right now, depending on what we can do from now to later on tonight, if we can drive all the way back down, I think this is a buying opportunity right here where the Australian news is coming out. If we maintain high up top, then again, it also could be a shorting opportunity, right? From right here. Again, it is in a zone. It is in a 61.8. We'll have some kind of technical sellers coming into the market. And again, what would that show? Again, more weakness. So we do have a level, again, the 23.6 level on the current trend, right, is down at 68.57. So again, push down. This is an Aussie bull move. And then if we stay high and we're still maintaining around here around the 61.8, that goes into a technical sell level. And again, that is an Aussie bear move. So kind of two ways to play this one. And again, if we start to push down and start to base in here, there could be, it's about 25 pips. It's not a huge area, but there is a little bit of a short trade over here to take off this, just the rest of this move on the way down. So a couple different plays in the Aussie. Aussie yen. This is another one. Okay. So again, whoops, I don't want to move that one. So yesterday, again, we were sitting right in here. 10:30 was the peak, and we talked about, hey, listen, this is a good potential reversal. And again, this one missed it by 3.2. So better than 1.6, but Again, this one is a little bit more volatile of a pair. There's a little bit more of a spread. Yeah, this was number two that I was like, wait a second. I saw the price. I'm like, wait, I should be in a trade. And then I realized that, guess what? It missed the trade. It left without me. So it stinks when it does that. And all it did, look at this. It came back and it literally went back down to the same level, that 26, 23.6 level. Kind of what this looks like here is exactly what we have right here. The basing, the pullback, and again, we knew we were going to have some buying. And again, great opportunity to go long. We were just yesterday we were up top and we were looking to get short this one. And again, gotta hate when that leaves without you, right? Gotta hate when it leaves without you. But again, looking for the continuation, came right back down. If you guys were able to grab this one, this was a nice little run to the top side. And again, you would have triggered this one. I guess yesterday afternoon, right? And then finally started to move late last night. So again, this was a one from yesterday for the most part, and your 1 to 3 is sitting right there, right? You were out at midnight. So again, nice move up. The opposing zone, you can see it kind of came back up and was doing the same thing where it kind of bounced through, kind of came higher, and is now pushed. So right now we are going to extend this up. And again, I'm going to remove that alert. Unfortunately, that one got front run, and there's nothing we can do about it. Let's see, do we want to use this? Looks like right now, I'll just use it up here. It looks like right now we are having some problems with this area. Just want to adjust those across. Looks like this is what we got going on right now. Looks like two levels. We got one at 95.16, and that's what we're kind of running into right now. And it's fighting, right? It's fighting, right? And then I think there's a little bit better of a sell right above at 95.52. Again, if the Aussie is going to be turning and rolling and heading back to the downside, we are at two levels right now. 23.6 is quite far away, and there is some buyers there. The 23.6 on this one is about 80 pips away, so a little bit more than what's most likely possible for today. Nothing you can really do about that one. So yeah, that's what we're looking for the Aussie. Euro dollar. So euro dollar also had a pullback, and again yesterday we talked about this 23. It actually went a little bit higher, but the zone stayed the same. As you can see, we started off the day today. Really around midnight is where this one took off. Came back down, grabbed the same level. So again, from yesterday, this is what we had, 23.6. We had this level marked off. 10:30 ended up being kind of the reversal area again. Actually, I guess the 10:30 candle is this green one. Again, the peak for the day, we mentioned that if there was reversals, they all look good. It did. It reversed all the way back down, grabbed this one, and then took off today. Since that time, it has been bouncing back and forth, and we had two levels. One was right here that was kind of tested. Again, sliced through it and then used it, went higher, hit it again. So I'm kind of looking at this one for somewhat of a Harry Potter trade. It's a smaller base trade. It's only about 9 pips worth of risk on that one. And again, it's kind of the old violated level. I would say that if this is able to go through, this could be considered a racetrack. There's no kind of pullbacks. It's one solid bit of movement forward. Looking for a retracement in this one looks something along these lines right here. Now, in reality, you got 1 to 6 is what the range is on this one. But I would say that a 1 to 3 is kind of what we're looking for right there. And that's 102, really 102.20. Right up there. But overall, again, we always like to mark these off. I would say getting your profit before that level is probably where we're looking for. And again, that brings us all the way down to, I'm going to put it here first on. I can tell that it's not straight. 86. Can I put text on there? Coordinates, visibility, style. I was trying to see if they did a price label. Position on the right. Center. I don't know. Anyway, right there. 101.48. So, again, so yeah, one probable trade again, just a retracement of all the movement we saw today. Euro pound. So, euro pounds. Euro pound really chopped back and forth, and then again, 2:30 this morning absolutely took off to the top side. And again, some of that data was what we saw out of the UK. When we move this around, you can see the 23.6 is not really in a level. So um, we're going to remove this. It got sliced through. That one pushed down. Um, we still got a level all the way up top. Let's see. Actually, it is at the 50 right now. Let's mark that one off for one more hit. Right there. And we know we got something a little bit higher. So that's what we're looking for right now. Um, again, kind of flirting with the 23.6, but there's nothing there. I'm not really super worried about that one. But there's this level right here. Again, that is now at the 50 that I think is important that we talk about. So let's extend this across. We're going to use this one right here. Again, 85 is this black line, right? Let's put it on the bottom right now, right? So huge parabolic move, kind of forming a base, kind of retracing back again. But I think right now, if this is the true top, and again, it's a confirmed top in there, so I think 85.33 is a good short. If price is able to come back down, you can see this 50% retracement, which tends to be a decent level from bottom to top right here. Also has a level of basing, which is confirmed. So I think this could be pretty decent. 84.78, looking for a pop to the top side. All right. Euro yen. Here, let's mark that one off. Just so everybody can see visually what it looks like. Um, like I said, I don't know when this one's coming in. Right there. We got 1 and 3 dead on. All right, there we go. All right, euro yen. So euro yen had a very very similar pullback. Again, we talked about it yesterday, coming into 23.6 right here. And again, 10:30 turned out to be the reversal time frame. Came back down again. We had a one candle bottom, a drop, a base in here, and a nice push higher. Came back down, kind of tested it and flirted with this one. Went a little bit low, and then just absolutely launched itself. So we'll readjust it right now. Um, we're gonna move that just across a little bit. Let's see. Problem is with anything short right now is we're sitting in this right now. So really nothing until we get all the way up to the 142.17 as far as targets go, as far as getting short or long. Um, but if this is the top and we do start to grow back down again, like I said, we've seen some euro strength in a couple places, but we will see that kind of turn and roll back to the downside, I think. Is it if this is the top? Not really concerned about the 23.6. It's the middle of nowhere, kind of like a no man's land trade. Not concerned about it. We do know we have an area right here, but we're kind of really sitting right in between the two. So maybe like a 37-ish in there. But look at the 50 right now. The 50 has a level that's kind of sitting kind of right there, and we got some confirmation testing off of it. So I would say right now, if you do get short this one, look to get your profit out before 139.38. And interestingly enough, the 50 lines up with an area of basing where we've touched. The 61.8 also goes to a level where we've touched, touched, and touched. So again, kind of bringing those two levels high. And the 78.6 just also happens to be sitting at a level as well. So again, the three main levels that we look at, there happens to be basing and the confirmation off of it. 61.8, basing, touch, touch, and then boom, two confirmations and gone. And even the 78.6, it's a level of basing that we have marked off, and then the distal side is there. So again, kind of some interesting setups in this position, but I do think we turn a little bit more bearish. And again, we're looking for this one to roll back down, but not necessarily a trade setup. But there is a kind of a Harry Potter down here if you wanted to. How much space is that? There's about 60 in there. So yeah, there's probably something small. Let's drop it to 15. Do we have a decent? Yeah, you can see right there. Something along those lines. Right there. And again, profit target needs to be taken out before this. Oh my god, look at that. Identical. There you go. So that's where your profit target needed to be. You guys know what movie that's from? Identical. Virtually identical. Only reason I know what movie it came from is because a friend of mine posted something. I was like, "Oh my god, that's from that movie!" And I looked it up to get the meme, but I knew what movie it was from. It was virtually identical. All right, pound dollar. So pound dollar. Look at this bad boy. So kind of the same scenario as yesterday. This one missed. We had talked about an entry down here at 120.42. This one did the same thing at 10:30, and it missed it by again. This was an 8.9 pip, which is like that stinks. And went all the way back down again, right? And then came up again, and then kind of triggered it, and is now kind of basing sideways, and kind of gave us a second entry in. So it's one of those ones. We're definitely more bearish. And again, I think this one, if you're already in it, great. It technically is up, 0.58%, but you're seeing it's running into sellers and it's pushed down, and it's about a 2 to 1 right now, um, on its way back lower. And again, adjusting a fibs on that one, you can see there's 23. Not really worried about the 61.8. I think is the only one that was an old level we had drawn here that we had some testing off of. I think this one comes over, and again, potential at least target slash reversal. Actually, I guess it's a target first, then shorts. That at 118.77. So again, same levels yesterday. We missed the first entry on it. There was three other missed entries. And then again, it did hit this morning at about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we kind of left it there. And again, you could be short this position, pushing back to the downside. But funny enough, it missed it here, blew through. Missed it by just a fraction, went to profit target. Missed it by a fraction again, went to profit target. Hit it finally, and now we're about two-thirds of the way through. So again, legitimate level, waiting for it to continue to do its thing. Pound yen. So pound yen, interesting enough, and again, I know I'm on a 15. Here is kind of your upper section, and we just kind of went off of it. Let's go back up to a 30. So yesterday we were talking about the 23.6 in this one as well. We were sitting right here yesterday. Again, 10:30 was the peak, which we knew. We talked about where the 23 was, and we had a level right below the 23, and it was kind of like look for that one as being kind of the breaking of the 23, but stabilizing itself right here. Well, that's where it came to. It came right back down again, grabbed that level, kind of confirmed off of it here at 3 o'clock this morning for the European session, and then did this kind of like slow, 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 and then pop. So, had you used this one as a European session open, we knew that there was going to be some trading opportunity in here. Had you established it off of this low, you can see that there's your 1 to 3. You were obviously out of the trade at this point. Didn't trade this one again, obviously with the girl. I was actually just getting the sleep at this point. But I wanted to point it out because it did pull right back to the 23. Used a little bit more, and again, we're looking for that supply zone behind it and actually below the 23.6. That's where the entry came in. All right, so that's where the entry came in, and again, this could have been a set and forget overnight based trade, but there's where you're out on that one right there. So not a bad little trade. Right now, right, I think we still need to watch this level. I don't think there's much we can do with it right now. There's not really enough room to run to the downside. The 50's in a weird spot, and this one's got some movement. I mean, really, I think until this one drives forward, and we know that this is a 4 hour zone up here, this 166.50 level, right there. I'm sorry, 166.95. Not really loving this one. Now we could take this one and say, well, wait a second, there's a short, Brian. Yeah, we could. You could say that this is a short, but it's about a 25, 24 pip kind of shorting area. And the question is, can it go that much in the other direction? 1 to 3 is there. It's a little deep, but again, if you're looking for something, we're kind of at the money right now. Um, could potentially see a little bit more move in this one. And again, I think it's we've seen some pound strength today, right? Right now, we're seeing a little bit of pound strength in this one. We could get a reversal out of it. If it was 10:30 right now, I'd be all over the short on this one. Um, but again, you don't see as many reversals at noon, so it's just a thing. So not bad. Now, dollar CAD. So dollar CAD was one of the frustrating ones. We did have an alert on this one. It kind of drove through. Didn't even pause. And like I said, we normally like to see the pause in there. Didn't even pause. Right? Came back up again. And again, this is not really a base. This is this was a push, a pullback, and then another push. So the trend had changed with this green, red, green. Again, Harry Potter is more of a base. It's more of a drop, a base, and then a push back up to the zone. This one dropped, base, pulled back down again, and then went again. So didn't work. And then funny enough, here's the base in the zone that we wanted. We wanted it here. We ended up getting it here. Here's where the base was. And then it drove all the way down to your profit target. So at this point, if you're still short, I think you ride this one down to 128.49. Kind of the same assessment of what we did yesterday. And like I said, this is a rough one where it drives almost your profit target, pulls back up, and then tries to go lower again, and then goes higher. It's like, oh god, the trend just reversed on us. You're right, it did. Um, it absolutely did. It would have been great if the green came up, it wouldn't have triggered. But if it just started the base back and forth and then popped, it would have been much better. But nope, trend change on that one, and then did it over here. Chop, 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 all the way through. So 128.50 is where we're looking to get out on this one profit, and that's probably a decent level to go long. I do believe that there will be probably some movement in this one. Like I said, we're seeing a lot of dollar weakness. I think we'll probably step into some dollar strength here in a minute, in the next day or two. Okay. But with this pushed all the way down, you can see 23 is not really concerned. I do like it if the price comes down. And again, this is like kind of forecasting with fibs. If I drive this down to the 128.50 range, it will be a psychological number being a 50. Look what that did. Look over. Whoops, not what I wanted to move. Looking at fibs, right? Look what happens like where it was here, right? When I bring it lower, right? Look at this 50% mark. When I bring it all the way down to the zone, now the 23.6 happens to be here in the basing level that we talked about before, the 129.35. And look at the 50. The 50 is also at a basing level, and we do have a touch here. So it looks like, as far as forecasting goes, it looks like a decent area. Again, you should already be short this one, but 128.50 is where I'd say, hey, start to look for this one to potentially turn and roll and flip back up again. That's kind of how they get set up, right? And again, not everybody will use fibs to forecast, but if we talk about where potential levels are, it's funny when again, some people are like, oh, you know what, I'm going to draw from here. No, I'm going to draw from here. I'm drawing here, and they're trying to have it tell you this. We're using it forecasting. We're saying, okay, when it touches down here, look at this. Now there's a zone that confirms us here and kind of confirms us the 50 and kind of confirms us the 61.8. So kind of one of those levels. It's kind of reverse engineering it, but it kind of makes a lot of sense when it goes that way. So again, look for a potential bounce. Profit target first, look for a bounce back up again. And again, maybe trend continuation, but I would say the dollar strength is probably more due than anything else. Now, dollar Swiss. So, dollar Swiss, we talked about this one shopping back and forth, and we talked about 96.86 being our target. We finally hit that target. I mean, it took forever. It was like, oh God, it was like watching paint dry on the way down. And it finally did. I mean, late last night, it just started to collapse, 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 and push all the way down, and they could see it's basing. So it finally hit that level, right? Um, let's see. I'm gonna remove this top down. I'm gonna pull from here up. None of those levels really make much difference to me. There's really nothing at the 61, and 78 is nothing, and even the 50 is a little bit of the 50, but not much. All right, so profit target is hit. I would say right now, here's our high to low. There's the base right there. Right. Probably shrink that a little bit because it's with the trend. How much is that? 10. Yeah, there we go. Not bad if we can get a little bit of a pullback. Now, again, I would expect there to be some dollar movement coming in this one, but if you're looking for something kind of intraday today, could be a little trade here. Something along those lines. Again, all it is a 23.6 pullback to a level of basing. Huge push in, base, nice push out. As it pulls back up again, you can have the fib traders going up, 23.6 pullback. That's it. Trend continuation. Let's go. And again, with the basing in there, kind of makes sense. And we're not really, we know that we're kind of hitting this, but not necessarily the best level. So we should be able to chop through that one. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, as you can see, we talked about this level. Didn't really necessarily like the setup that much, and that's why we left it yellow. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you can see that it came through. It sliced through 23 like nothing. It came up and hit it, and dropped again, hit it, dropped again, and it kind of formed the new base. And again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 is what sliced through it. It pulled back up to it. Really, I think until we get the 132. I'm sorry, 137.21 and 139.09. I'm kind of this one's on hold for me, and you can see it's only down 0.13. Um, in 24 hours, it's 19 pips, and it's been retracing the last hour. So not necessarily the biggest mover. Like I said, we're typically looking for ones that have good room to run, and this isn't it. But it is funny how it came down and used that level all day. and then came back up and used it again, but we missed entry on the other two. So, yeah, so that's what I'm looking for a dollar yen. Bitcoin continuing to rally, and again, pulled back yesterday, straight down. Actually, I guess 10:30 was here. It pulled back, came up late last night, down again, and now it's been on a rally. I think Bernard speaking should be interesting. It's back up to 23, 23.4. So not bad. It's up 4%. And again, you may look at this and say, wait a second, Ethereum's only up, point 0.26. Why? Because regulation is really talking about, it's what Bitcoin needs, and even Doji's up kind of middle of the way, up near 7. So again, we'll see if we get anything out of Bernard today. The regulation is good, and there'll be some more headlines. There's not a ton over here right now, but we will get some more headlines as far as crypto. And actually, maybe we did. Did we get? Let's see. I think this has a crypto section. Crypto. Nope. Just Ethereum. It's rallying on its way to. Look at this. Ethereum is rallying on its way to 1723. I don't even know where it's at right now. It's at 1582. I love when people call this. Sorry, look at it. It's rallying. It kind of came back. They're saying where it's going to go. 1753. They're saying all the way up in here. Good. Days worth of movement, but it's all right. All right, let's look at the commodities. So oil. So oil yesterday we were talking about, kind of being in a level. And again, oil market kind of closed, right? We'd said 100 will be a psychological thing, and it kind of just went sideways, 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 came up again, then blew all the way through, back down, and we talked about 96.01. It made it to 96.49, right? Sorry, 96.03. In actuality, that should have been a bit higher. It should have been right there. Right, I'm not sure why I had it at the very, very bottom of that one. Oh, you know what? I was probably marking the green off here. But yeah, there's the red candle behind the green wall. So again, it turned where it was supposed to turn. And then we're still kind of back in the same level. So we're at 131, right? We talked about it being psychological. And again, it still is. It's going to act as a magnet. So, yeah, oil is oil, you know? Gasoline prices are down. I want to say that $4.19 is what it was at Sam's Club yesterday. $4.19. The food inside was still quite expensive. That hasn't come down yet, but yeah, um, is what it is. So I would say again, this one has a little bit more room to run. We've been chopping back through 100. I mean, you can see it here, front run, chop. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what kind of burst, and hit it again. You know, it's gonna continue to be a level. It's just such a big psychological level being 100. If it does pop a little bit further, though, I would say that there is probably a level of shorting sitting right here, and that's coming back in that 101. Turn this red. 101.31 area. I'd say that's probably the next area, but I'd be cautious with it. If it comes up and hits it, it'll probably come back down and base in here again, which again, it could, like just like this did, how it rode up to it and then kind of based and then hit it and went through. It could do the same exact thing, but flipped on the top side, right? Um, Again, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of oil right now because I think, recession fears send this down. Russia has no kind of say in it anymore, but that would be where I look, take next shorts, particularly because we've been heading straight up since really 9 o'clock. So there'll be some profit taking coming in. So hopefully 101.31 and then look for a roll back down to $100. Natural gas. So natural gas is down. And yesterday we drew this 756 as the next level because we had seen some sellers come in there. Yeah, this one is missed it by half of a penny. We talked about 756 flat. Guess what? It came to 755.5. Right? Missed it by half of a penny. And then they kind of maintained and then came back and then dropped. So, and it's funny, it kind of hit this on the other side too. So I would say this one kind of has a racetrack set up below $7.08. The reason why this is kind of doing what it's doing is because this Nord pipeline is restarting. The maintenance is done on time on Thursday, but reduced levels. And again, the fact that it opened is something that's extremely positive because yesterday I was joking. It's like, well, wait a second, you know, they're going in emergency stock. What's happening here? And again, the scheduled maintenance is over. So again, they didn't just cut the supply, which is again good, right? It's good, and again, it should drive it back down again. If you guys are looking for shorts in this one, I would say if price is able to break below 107, I'm sorry, 7073. This one should be good to run to about that level, and looks at $6.75, right? So it makes sense. So, all right, gold. So gold's still chopping back and forth. So yesterday we were sitting right here. Actually, right here. We talked about it being a bottom. It is a 61.8. It literally just chopped back and forth. Look at it. Below the 61, right above, below, right above, right below, and then boom, and then we're kind of right there. So it's up just slightly at 0.22. I still think gold traders are trying to figure out what the heck are we doing with this. Like, all right, so we're seeing it more inflation. Is it continuing to grow? Is it done? Like everybody's convinced that it's done, and then we get the next inflation reading, and it goes higher. So, but it's kind of like this is the falling knife right now. It's like where do you catch the falling knife? Right? Can you step in front of the train before the brake? Will the brakes work? So that's where gold traders are kind of stuck out right now. And again, you're starting to see it kind of condensing back in again. This is easy to draw, but there's your top and there's your bottom. So you're kind of seeing it consolidating in. Um, Again, I think some of the CPI data this week is kind of what's going to be the caveat, kind of the catalyst for this one to really kind of move. I don't really like gold as far as charts go right now. Um, like I said, it's you know I think my next big level is going to be the 1675. There's about 8 million different ways to draw this one right now. And again, it's hard because you could say, oh no no, look at this, this is all here, right? But at the same time, you could draw this and say, well, wait a second, look at that. Like are we in a near term? Are we in an up channel? Kind of, but I think right now it's more just one of these things where it's just, you know, it's probably more just sideways right now, and then again starting to contract. Um, hmm. Yeah, so tomorrow is the big day really for inflation, right? With the pound coming in, again, continuing to increase, and then obviously the CAD. So nothing really for the US. And the problem is everybody's waiting for that figure. I mean, I would say gold is I'm my fundamental belief right now is gold is more of a shorting opportunity, but finding a good level to get short on there is I think where the big question is. Let's delete that. Let's delete this. We're on the 30-minute. Let's mark this zone off. We had a touch here. Let's say if you're looking for more intraday stuff. Like this down here. It's just too choppy. Look at this. Spike down, spike down, spike down, spike down, spike down. It's like, ugh. Yeah, I mean, I would say if we can rally back up to 1721, 64-ish, right? At least we have some confirmation in there. 61, actually 25. I say bearish, but I don't really have a great zone that I can draw. 1721 is probably the best one there. Silver, what do we got here? There's yesterday's silver. Yesterday we're sitting here, silver. We drew this one for the group. Talked about it. So we were kind of at the money right now, and you can see silver drove down, and there was the profit target level, and you can see it hit it and literally rode across the top, and then hit it and rode across the top, came back up, rode across it, and went back up again. So again, if you were in this trade from yesterday, great job. And again, we were sitting right here. This is exactly where we were yesterday, right at 10:30. Um, and again, out on full profit on that one. So um, right now, my thinking is kind of the same thing. Right, obviously the highs are getting kind of lower at this point. We are going to see a hiccup kind of right below here. Right, there's going to be a little bit of a hiccup right in that level on our way down. But I think until it's a higher time frame, because it goes all the way out here. Um, just trying to move this in a good area here. This anymore? Yeah, I mean that's kind of what you're looking at. Actually, let me see. Let's do the current. It is at the 50. So yeah, so right now the 50 is lining up for that zone that I marked off. That's about the biggest thing on that one that I would say that look for a potential bounce off of it. But again, profit target hit on that one. Um, there's a potential little long out of that. 1862. And again, from the most recent low to high, 50% push. And again, there is, if I extend this across, you can see there's a little bit of little touching. And again, it went a little bit deeper here. So again, could potentially break, but it's the first time it did pretty well. So yeah, maybe something there. All right, let's look at the indices and see how these are going. So funny. Every time I do this, I'm like, oh, 15 seconds. No, no, it's 15 minutes that I wanted to get. All right. So we were looking for a bigger push down yesterday, and we got a push, but it didn't go as far as we wanted. Um, Funny enough, 10:30. By the way, 9:30, 10:30 is right here. So it completed that trade to the downside. So that one would be there. And again, you were out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And again, target smashed, and then kind of use that target. So um, change that yellow because there is a touch there. Kind of like how that base and then came back and touched it. This one I don't need. Again, it based in there. So we're talking about a drop below, and it did. It dropped a decent amount and actually found the buyers here. But we're going to remove those guys now. Um, Looking like it's basing here. It looks like it's going to go higher. All right, let's see at open. Not really. 9:30 candles right here. It pulled back. Right, it pulled back. Mm, I don't know if that would have been enough for me. So probably not. I mean, the 9:30 is the red candle right here. It was driving up again, but it wasn't driving in any zones over here that we knew we had, anything to watch out for. We knew we had a zone up here, but again, it based in there, it hit it and kind of went again. So again, this one was kind of burned at this point, and we knew we had a level right up top. It would have been more of a target. So again, this would have not have been an entry this morning. Again, up big, not unexpected after yesterday's big push down. Again, you expect to see a bit of a rally, and again, it kind of started with the Europeans lower today, right? Impulse, profit taking, push higher. Um, Again, no real news. Not necessarily as worried about it right now. So again, this is a problem we always have on Tuesday afternoon. But again, no opening print set up on that one. NQ is again playing around with what 12,200. There was a trade from yesterday. There was your 10 o'clock. So if you got in on the 10:30, it came down, it teased you, right? There's your 12. And then again, profit target one smashed, and you see a little bit of a hiccup there. Profit target two smashed, and then it pulled back and used it and continued to drop lower. So there was your NQ from yesterday. So again, from yesterday, which these two were not completed yesterday, got close, right? Got close. The 9:30 went up, and then again triggered at 12. Um, Two full completions. Okay. Now, it has been up here again. There's three touches right here and basing below. This is four, I would say, at this point. This area has the ability to go higher. And you can see we're flirting with all kinds of stuff right now. This is where we're at, right? We're flirting with this level here, as well as there's going to be a bit of a top in here as well, right? So there's some stuff to chunk through. It isn't a racetrack, so it's literally going to be all this kind of near term stuff that it's chunking through. Goes all the way across. Right. I would say at first, let's see what happens here when we touch this level at 12,235. And then again, I think we have more shorts coming up here at 12,335. Again, 100 points apart on that one. So, but again, hopefully yesterday, again, we smashed both those two. Um, but will we have traded it today at 9:30? No. The 9:30 is this red. Actually, this one, yeah, actually maybe because look, there was the level of basing, and 9:30 opened here, pulled down and grabbed this. So yes, actually, this one would have. So ES, no. This one actually, yes, it drove over, pulled right back into the most recent term base, and then went. So yes, I stand corrected. There you go. Right. And again, in a racetrack, you would expect this one to go all the way up and have issues pretty much at that same level, and that's what it did. It hit it, and it just started the base before it. So there you go. So 1 for 2, and again 1 for 1 on entries. So yeah, staying corrected on that one. Yep. So that was a decent one. Yeah, not bad. All right. NYM. And remember, part of the reason why we have some new people, I believe there's some, let's see, looking at numbers. Yeah, we probably have some new people watching. A lot of times I'm doing live analysis. So we go back and we analyze on the 15-minute chart. It's kind of our strategy that we have. I don't have it in any classes. I don't talk about. 15 minutes is not one that I use often. It's one that's kind of in development, but it's just life is just crazy. Actually, with my kids gone the next 2 weeks, actually the boys are gone till August, and the girl and the little boy are gone for the next 2 weeks. Maybe I will have enough time to record that. But anyway, this is kind of a strategy that we talk about. We go back, review it each day. It's kind of one of those ones. It's a way to kind of give back to people that are attending the sessions on a regular basis, so you can kind of see kind of what they look like and kind of do the analysis on there. A lot of strategy development is done like this. It's a great little strategy. I mean, there's days where 3 or 4 out of 4 hit. Right now, it looks like today 0 on this one, but again, we had the one from yesterday, and then again, all already out on this one on a little 15-minute time frame. So, you know, 1 for 2 on entries. The one that entered went to full profit target within the first hour. So you're done. And again, not surprised to continue to rally higher. And I'd say 12,235 is where it looks to turn. YM. So this was YM yesterday, right? And again, 1030 was actually here. So again, this was the one that was out already from yesterday. So we knew that one. We talked about a profit target, and you can see it kind of came in and base, kind of came back and used it. So again, that was good. We ended up going down and grabbing this level here, which I think that's important. We're going to mark that one off for later because again, we had a little touch of it. Put that down there. Why is Anne Arundel County calling me? Hold on for like 30 seconds. Let me see if this is, guys. Hold on 1 second. All right. Let me just make sure this is not anything with the gin bite. Hold on 1 sec. 1 sec. Uh, all right, back. There we go. I can see it. Sorry about that. I was right. Yeah, it was Anne Arundel County, and I was like, "Oh God, it's probably them calling about the dog," because they were all like, "Wait a second, a dog bite?" It's like, yes, it's our dog. My daughter jumped on the dog's face. Like, not the dog's fault. The dog literally ran out of the room screaming, tail between her legs. Anyway, so why I might say 11, I'm sorry, 31, 741 is probably where we're going to see some slowing down and reversing. As far as the opening strategy goes today, it didn't quite pull back. I would say that if you were looking for it, we would have been looking for a pullback to this level. It's nice to think of that, but guess what? It didn't come back down. It did not trigger. So it did pull back slightly, but not enough to where we can say, hey, listen, that's a legitimate entry on this one. So again, it would make us 1 for 3 as far as entries go or trade setups, which again is fine. You really just need one good one a day. And it didn't go, and again, it pushed back up. You can see all the basing here, same level again. But 31, 741 is kind of where we're looking for on that one. Russell. All right, so Russell from yesterday. Again, we talked about this one. This one left early and was already kind of off to the races yesterday. The peak of this one was literally at 9:45, and then it did come back up. I mean, again, 11:30, 11:45. If we're looking for shorts on this one, that would have been your entry, your top. It pulled back and kind of hit it and then collapsed. We talked about again the 23.6 level being an area that was confirmed, but it just sliced right through it, so it didn't necessarily matter. Going across, you can see the basing here, but let's see. As far as this morning goes, actually that's interesting. Look at the 50 right now. Oops, right there. 10. No, 9:30. It's not really in an area. Neither of these two areas I would have used. Here's the 9:30 open. It didn't pull back. The opening here would have been the pullback, right? 9:15 was here, so there was nothing there. So it would have been 1 for 4 as far as setups go. Only one of them actually triggered, and again, one trade a day, but it did go right to a full profit target right away. So again, if you were doing the 15-minute on the setup, there's your one trade for the day. Um, I, this one is also capping out, and you can see. Actually, this should be on the top now because the price is below. Um, this is what we're dealing with right now. Looking back, the last time we were at 1800, we know there's a gap actually sitting right above it on the 15-minute. We know that there's a gap sitting right there. That's kind of where we're at. It's kind of backstopped. And again, 1800 is going to act like $100. It's a large psychological level. It's something that will kind of pull it in. So take it for what it's worth. That's kind of where it is. But either of these two, again, you can see that this one kind of pulled back as well. No setup on that one. And again, look at the basing right below that one as well. So yeah, kind of all similar. But I would say look for a top in here. Look for potential reversal. The Russell is up 3.16 or 117 at this point. I would say look for a reversal going into tomorrow. This is quite a big rally up again. And again, we've seen massive dollar weakness today. So everybody's feeling that it's going to be a weak dollar story. We come back in with a strong dollar story, strong economy, anything that is the exact opposite of what we heard today, which is extremely common. Again, the Russell should be the one affected. We should see some type of a turn and roll back to the downside. So right now, we don't even have a Harry Potter for this one. So is what it is. All right. So that is it for today. Let's go here. Let's put this off. Let's do all. So, biggest things we got to look at is again the Aussie low is speaking tonight. There could be some movement from that one. The BOE will consider a half-point raise. Again, that's positive, but it says they'll consider it. Everybody will start looking at a point 0.5, and then they'll do 0.25 and mess that one up. Tomorrow morning, again, we do have CPI for the pound early on, year over year, going to 9.3. Again, that's kind of a really big deal, particularly for the pound and what they do next, whether they do a 0.25 or a 0.5. And then CPI for the CAD coming at 8:30 right when we talk. So, again, some decent CPI data for tomorrow morning. We should get some decent movement off of it. Let's go ahead and do this. And again, I know this is all off time. Again, the guys are missing it. And again, we don't normally do pip chips on Tuesdays, but again, we're doing it for today. It's funny, everybody else. So we have, let's see, we got a bunch of people on stream right now, but it's so funny. Yeah, we have like what 16, 17 people watching live right now from the different platforms that I can see. Everyone's like, pip chips? What the heck are pip chips? Like, we have just nine people on Twitch, and not even none of them are mine right now, right? My alt account I'll have on there sometimes if I remember, but yeah, we have 9 people and there's 3 people in for pip chips. So like, what the heck are pip chips? Pip chips, guys, they're just currency things that the channel kind of you accumulate, and it's a fun thing that you can do inside of Stream Elements, obviously. We have a good time with it, and you can buy like classes and indicators and stuff like that with it as well. And mentoring for a bit. I had that up there. I think it's still up there. But anyway, let's close it down. So, Eki won yesterday. I believe it was Eki. Eki, you won yesterday, yeah, because I mentioned the bookend thing. Yeah, so the girls are going for 25. Eki's going for 100 today. And again, even odds across. None of the boys are in here messing it up for the group. So let's see how it works out. Winner of today's drawing is Eki. Look at that. Eki takes a double. So let's go in here. Let's give Eki his 100 pip chips for double. That means Eki, tomorrow you have to show up. You will be again. You're closing in on Earth a little bit. He's got a little bit more room to run, but you'll be going for 250 tomorrow. So you'll be going for the big one, right? So decent way to play it. All right. With that said, I'll catch you back tomorrow morning at our normally regularly scheduled program time at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be on from 9:30 to 10:30, and then again Thursday, Friday, we'll definitely be on. And next week, I'm hoping that we're gonna have the morning show back on. I got Dan everything he needs. And again, hopefully, I get access to that one. But I was hoping to get it this week, but it looks like it's probably gonna be next week. And again, then we start doing some fun stuff at the morning show and potentially even the podcast. So with that said, I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you then. Take care.